Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Simply Sketchy. It is me, once again, Trim, on my own channel. Big surprise, but I have once more corralled a poor American to join me here. Hello, poor American. Your name is?
Hello. Hello. I'm Dave, Fat Dave. Total
Hello.
blackout painting.
Hey,
Here
you're not
again.
that fat.
I've gotten a lot. Like I've put on a lot of weight recently. I really need to lose weight. That's part of the reason I hurt my knee is because I'm just getting fat. Uh,
I know
but
all about that one.
yeah. So we're back on Fablehaven. We took a break last time and did the Chad Beholder because um, I hadn't had a chance to really review the Fablehaven material, and I felt like doing the Beholder because I thought it would be a cool thing for Trim to draw.
It's fun talk, just not just
Yeah.
drawing the beholder, but like whole fucking lore with that damn thing.
Oh yeah, it was a blast, dude. The fucking
God,
mega autists, the highest functioning autists.
yeah.
Um, but
Doesn't care about anything,
but
just knowledge.
but yeah, so now we're back on Fablehaven, and we're doing Trim. I asked Trim to do a Minotaur, because Minotaur is the first challenge that Kendra and Warren faced in the inverted tower.
Yeah, this is a
Um,
third book, right?
this is the second book. We're
Oh,
still in the
second.
second book.
All right.
This is right. This is the end of the second, right close to the end of the second
Oh,
book.
right,
So
right.
this is
After
chapter.
the Revenant, after the Frog Demon, right?
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back and we'll rehash. I'm gonna rehash how they got the key, and just to reiterate how they got the key, and then I'll talk about how Seth beat the Revenant again, but I won't cover it in as much detail because we already did that video. Um, and I'll make some corrections in there. So we'll start off after Seth comes out of the cocoon and everything. He faced the Revenant the first time. Um, Seth Seth finds Kendra, and Seth finds Mendigo.
Yeah.
Or no, Kendra has Mendigo. Seth finds Kendra, and then the kids know they have Mendigo to help them. Anyhow, so the kids have Tanu's potion pouch. When Kendra escaped, she was able to take that, so she's got Tanu's potion satchel. And the kids find a shrinking potion in there, and they decide they're going to use that shrinking potion to sneak into the house through the brownie entrance and get the key and try to get the key, at least the key to the place, and then maybe try to free Grandma and Grandpa from the prison under the house if they can.
Yeah. And brownies, these aren't. This is YouTube. This is not a racial slur. This is actually a actual mythological creature.
Yeah, they're very helpful little creatures. And so they're the only magical beings that are allowed in the house. No other creature is allowed without direct invitation into the house. And so they both take a shrinking potion, and they have Coulter's glove. So they sneak into the house when they're little, and they're carrying the glove, take turns carrying the glove, and that's a long part because that's a huge pain in the ass for them to carry the glove. Anyhow, they get inside. When they're getting close to inside, that the shrinking potion is wearing off of Seth, and so Seth goes. They're in the kitchen because that's where the brownie entrance is, and Seth has the glove. He's in the kitchen, and then he's wearing the glove, and he turns invisible, and somebody walks in. The Vanessa walks in, And then her other dude comes in, and they look right through Seth because he's invisible. They're like, "Well, we thought we heard something," but they didn't see him because he was invisible.
Of course.
And so they figured like, we're just being paranoid. So Kendra comes in to the house, and oh no. And when that happened, Kendra was holding Seth or Seth was holding Kendra because Kendra was still really tiny. So after that, Kendra started getting big, and she hid behind the couch. And when she got big, it pushed the couch out. She was still hiding behind the couch, but it pushed the couch out a little bit. But nobody noticed, and so they had Seth. She wanted Seth to find her something, but they go into the living room. They go from the kitchen into the living room, and that's where Kendra gets behind the couch. While they're in the living room, Vanessa and Christopher Vogel is what he's going by now, because that was the name that was written in the register. So when Vanessa and Christopher Vogel come in the room, and they spill the beans about how they said the reason why Seth went there with Coulter was because Vanessa was controlling Coulter. Because normally Coulter wouldn't take Seth to such a dangerous place. But Vanessa was hoping that she could control Coulter to do that. So she sent Coulter down there, and she sent Tanu to the Grove. And Coulter, of course, was with Seth. And when Seth got eaten by Olak, and he went into the cocoon, then Vanessa wasn't able to control him because she had bitten him, so she could sense him and stuff, but she wasn't able to control him because he was in the cocoon. So they sneak into the house. So they're waiting in the living room, and they're listening to them spill the beans, all this stuff. And then an imp walks in because they've let some imps into the house. And Vanessa talks about, like, I know Kendra's going to come and try to save her grandparents. I know she is. So we just have to wait, and she'll come to us. And the imp's in the room, and the kids are in the room. One of them's invisible, and Kendra's just hiding behind the couch. And the couch is pushed out a little bit because she's behind it. And all they would have had to do was notice that the couch was pushed out a couple inches from the wall, and they would have found Kendra, but nobody bothered. They hadn't been there enough to notice that, the couch is in a different place than it should have been.
Of course.
So the imp walks in, and that's when Vanessa says, "Hey, they'll come to us. Just keep an eye out." And the imp says, "Oh, this place smells of them. I could swear they were in the room with us right now." And Vanessa dismisses it. It's like, yeah, well, they have been in this house forever. So they have been in the room a lot. So So they wait for Vanessa and Christopher to go to bed. They figure, because they said, we're tired, we're better off doing this. Nobody's going to come and try to sneak in at night, and we have the imps watching everything. They can't sneak in. So they go to bed. Kendra and Seth wait for an hour after they go to bed to make sure that they're asleep. And so once they do that, they wait for a while, and Seth really wants to go make a sandwich because he's hungry. And Kendra's like, "Are you insane? You're not. You're just going to wait right there. We're going to wait here. We're not going to go make a sandwich. We're not going to fuck around the house. We're just going to wait here for an hour to make sure that everybody's in bed." Because the imps were all patrolling outside. So
was kind of,
yeah. So, Kendra talked him out of it. But it was a funny part in the book.
Sure.
So
I get it.
They wait, and Seth goes up into Vanessa's room. And Christopher Vogel is posted up in Ruth and Stan's room into the grandparents' room. And at this point, they don't know where the register is because the register got hidden, and so they're not able to allow anybody else into the preserve. Um, so they go to bed anyhow, and Vanessa takes the key, which I think we talked about before was a really long, it's a long spear-shaped rod looking thing. Or it's a really long metal pole is what the key is. With some notches at the end of it and a few little marks and stuff on it. And so
Key staff than a key blade, I guess.
Yeah. So they goes into Kendra or to Vanessa's room, and Vanessa is asleep on top of the key. She's holding the key. And so
Because of course, why wouldn't you be?
Right. And Vanessa's weapon of choice is a blowgun with sleep darts, which makes perfect sense for being that control you in your sleep.
Yeah.
So while Seth is trying to work out, how to stop her or how to get the key, he takes one of her darts, and then he takes one of her darts, but he doesn't want to poke her with it because he doesn't know if it's going to work on her. Right? Like she's asleep. She's a narcoleptic. She's a sleep person. She's like a sleep demon kind of person thing, and he doesn't want to be like, just wake her up stupidly.
Yeah, because her poison might actually not work on her in that case.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of a logical. That would make sense. Were that to happen, that would make perfect sense.
I mean, it's not exactly a person where you might be susceptible, where a person is susceptible to the poison he uses. A mystical being doesn't always have to work by those rules.
Right. And so, sorry, I just have to check something really quick. No, great.
It's alright. Having a few notes is always clever.
Yeah. So Seth didn't want to just poke Vanessa with the dart because, again, like we were saying, sleep demon, sleep drug. So he was thinking of a way to make her roll over so she wasn't laying on the key anymore. And so what he did was he took a tissue out of a tissue box on the nightstand. And
she's with tissues. Let's go.
So, and very gently, and because he couldn't, if he held still, then he couldn't be seen. But if he moved, he could be seen. So very gently, he brushed, just held the tissue just so it would touch her nose because he wanted to try to get it to turn over. And so he does it once. And, she does the brush at your nose thing, and then she doesn't quite roll over. And so he's kind of like, well, shit. So he decides to try it again. And so when he tries to do it again, she wakes up and snatches the tissue.
Oh.
And so he just holds still. So he turns invisible. And then when she turned away, he pulled his hand in, and then he held still, and he's right next to her bed. But then Vanessa starts yelling for Errol. She starts hollering for Errol, saying, hey, there's somebody in here, there's something going on. She doesn't know because she can't see Seth. So as far as she knows, he's escaped. So she's hollering for Errol and yelling and yelling and yelling, and then she goes to stand up and she brushes against Seth. And so then she realizes that somebody's there, and that's when Seth is like, oh shit, and he poked her with the dart. Okay. Poked her in the arm with the dart. And it made her fall asleep. and put those hooves closer together.
Yeah.
Make it like on the hoof. Make it like one hoof, and then just a split in the middle of it. There you go. More like that. There you go.
All right.
We had that discussion with the satyr piece too.
It's hard to remember the feet of animals because I'm not really a feet
the
guy.
cloven hoof.
Eh,
Yeah.
I'm a roser.
That's why you know why? That's why your furry art commissions are so far down, Trim. If you got better at feet, your furry art commissions would be off the hook.
Honestly, I'm thinking
You would
that
have so much furry art commissions if you could draw really good feet.
you know what? You know what? That's a sacrifice I'm willing to fucking make.
Some parts of the market you don't want to explore.
Exactly. At this moment, I ain't that desperate for money, dude. Jesus.
Oh,
Christ. Yeah,
yeah,
guys,
so-
now you know
okay,
why
so-
I refuse to get good with drawing feet. Jesus Christ.
right. Yeah. Degenerates ruined feet for the internet.
I miss when feet was something you walked on.
Right. And so, anyhow, so Vanessa passes out from the dart because it's a magical sleep poison. So Vanessa passes out from the dart, and Seth grabs the key and holds still. And Christopher Vogel, who was Errol previously, they run into the room, and Errol is like, Errol sees that Vanessa's asleep, and so he starts yelling intruders to try to raise the alarm. And when he's doing that, Kendra she was in the living room, and she went into the study and slammed the door. She slammed the door to the study. And so then everybody started running towards the study, which was away from Seth. And so then when everybody left the room to run towards the study, Seth grabbed an aquarium full of these blue salamanders and ran out and threw it off the banister onto the floor in the living room. And it made such a racket that everybody focused on that. And then
Playing mind games.
right, and so Kendra was able to jump out of the window, and Seth was able to jump out of a window.
Everybody does the window
And-
dodge. Let's go.
Yeah, and so when they got outside, the Mendigo's there, and Mendigo meets them with their clothes and Tanu's potion pouch, and they're running away, and imps start chasing them, and so Seth, they go out different sides, and so the imps see Kendra and they start chasing after Kendra, and then Mendigo shows up, and Kendra's like, Mendigo, stop him. And so Mendigo kind of goes and starts wrestling with that imp, and then another imp shows up that was chasing that imp, and then all of a sudden another imp at that same time sees Seth outside and starts chasing him.
So it all ends up becoming like a Scooby-Doo chase scene, huh?
Yes, so there's 3 imps chasing after them, and Mendigo shows up. Kendra says, hey, stop him. And Mendigo's trying to wrestle with the imp, because of course Mendigo's way stronger than the imp. And Kendra's like, well, stop him. And then Seth says, Mendigo, break his arms.
Oh,
And
shit.
so then he does, and then Seth says, Mendigo, break his legs. And
Fucking
she's
hell.
like, okay, now do that to the other 2. And so Mendigo goes and breaks the arms and the legs on the fucking imps.
Holy shit.
It's wild in the book, because all of a sudden Seth's just like, Mendigo, break his arms. And you're just like, oh shit.
Okay,
I mean, everybody's trying to kill him up to that point, so it's totally...
it's fair. I mean, they're imps. They're not really good creatures, but fucking hell.
Well, yeah, I know. Good. But they can't kill him. That's the thing, is they can't kill him, because you can't kill somebody on the preserve.
Oh, no, you can kill him, but You know, it's just like that
Well, no.
preset. You know that just like that preset in Firefly. You know, it's pretty specific about killing, but it says very little about kneecaps.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The Bible is very unspecific about kneecaps.
Yeah, so
Fucking
then
hell.
the kids, after they break then they go to Warren's cabin.
Right?
Um, we're at Dale and Warren's cabin. Um, Dale and Stan and Ruth are still at the property. Uh, they've only sent Coulter and Tanu out to the Grove. They're still trying to figure out, and so they're thinking of sending Dale next, but they don't bother with Warren because Warren's, catatonic out in his own little shed. But Warren's
So this
shed
is
is
before
also has
the
the
Revenant, huh?
Yeah. This is before the Revenant. This is
Okay.
before, so we're getting to that part. So Seth has already encountered the Revenant. He knows what's in the Grove because this is after the cocoon, and he got back, and they got the key and everything. So they go to Warren's shack, and they're trying to figure out what to do. And Kendra's like, we should leave the preserve. We need to escape and find someone to help us. And that's when Seth's like, hey, we got this courage potion. Why don't we chug this and go defeat the thing? And they don't want to do it. And so Kendra's like, you know what? I got to go to the bathroom. So Kendra goes into the bathroom, and when she's in there, Seth takes the courage potion and heads on out to the Grove because that was his plan.
He got the ball.
And that's when we get to the part where, and so then that's when we get to the part with. So he has Mendigo take him to the Grove because Mendigo, of course, can go faster. Vanessa sent Hugo off to the farthest part of the reserve and told him to wait for 2 weeks. And so that's where Hugo is during this point. That's why they can't use Hugo to help them. So, but nobody knows about Mendigo because he just recently came under Kendra's control, or
I mean, he was
control of the Sorensens.
Yeah, I mean, he was Muriel Taggart's puppet, and suddenly now he's apparently back and working with the good guys. Nobody would see that coming.
Yeah. So real, it was a face change. So he takes Seth out to the Grove. On the way to the Grove, they see Tanu. Tanu's just a catatonic, pale dude, wandering through the woods. And then they get close to the Revenant's Grove, and Seth tells Mendigo to go back and help Kendra keep her safe. And that's when Seth chugs the courage potion, which in the book describes it like he's drinking hot sauce.
Really?
Like he drinks it down, and it's like so hot and spicy in his mouth, and he's just like, ooh. And then all of a sudden it started filling him with courage. And that's when he started doing the shadow boxing and started looking at the Revenant like it was super weak and everything. And
yeah.
So at that point, that's when Seth, and it's a wooden nail. I think I said it was iron earlier, it was wooden.
Oh, okay.
So I was wrong on that one. It was a wood nail. So, and that's when the battle with the Revenant takes, where Seth pulls the nail from the Revenant's neck, and the Revenant almost kills him. So after that, Kendra is not going to sleep in the cabin. She sees that Seth's gone. She's not going to sleep in the cabin, so she goes and hides in a tree with the glove. So she can, she can fall asleep in the tree, and as long as she's wearing the glove, she'll be invisible. But she didn't fall asleep. She's trying to stay awake because if she falls asleep, then Vanessa could control her.
Well, so she's been missing
Ostensibly,
too?
she doesn't realize that she's immune to the mind control yet.
All right.
So so she's waiting in the tree, and then Warren walks up to her. She didn't know that Seth succeeded. she was just trying to figure out how to get off the preserve. And then Warren walks up and is like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she knows Warren, but Warren doesn't know her, so she has to explain who she is. And then Warren explains, that he's an adventurer and he's with the Knights of the Dawn, and then the last thing he remembers was going to the Revenant's Grove, or the Grove, and called the Revenant's Grove then, but going to the Revenant's Grove to find to find the entrance to the inverted tower. He doesn't. So Kendra fills him in on it, and they decide. Oh, and then Mendigo shows up shortly after that. And they don't know what's happened to him, but Kendra figures Seth must have been successful. So they go. So they have the key. Kendra has the key. Kendra and Warren have the key. Warren goes and grabs some rope, and so anyhow, Warren goes and grabs some rope,
Right.
and a few other things like a flashlight. But he doesn't have a lot of time to gather all his stuff, like a bunch of adventuring gear, because of course he doesn't have a bunch of adventuring gear at Fablehaven. So him and Kendra set off with Mendigo, and they start off like Mendigo's running and carrying Kendra, and Warren's running beside him. And he keeps up for a while, but then of course you can't keep up with the automaton forever. The tireless magical automaton forever. And so Warren ends up getting carried by Mendigo, and they get to the tower, or they get to Revenant's Grove, and they find, and Warren explains about the Revenant, that the Revenant was a super ancient being that had been there since before the preserve was established. So that's why they put the tower there, was because they knew the Revenants, the Revenant's like super powerful fear would keep people away. So they find the entrance to the tower, and they put the key in, which the key, like I said, is just a long cylinder. They put the key in the keyhole and turn it, and the thing opens up like stairs, spiraling down into the abyss.
Right.
Like it's a big stone thing, and then it starts dropping down so that there's stairs into the abyss. Yeah. And so when Warren pulls the key out of the keyhole, it like opens up and turns into a spear. And so he figures, oh shit, well, this must mean we have to fight something. And so they get ready to go down the stairs, and Warren takes the key and goes to tap on the first set of stairs, and they're empty. There's nothing there. So they're fake stairs, and so they have to step over them. But he's like, yeah, that's probably leads to a drop of hundreds of feet. So they get ready to go down the stairs, and they go to tap the stairs, and there's the first two stairs are fake, which of course, like I said earlier, plunges hundreds of feet.
That's right.
So they go down the stairs, but they're still cautious and checking the stairs, and when you get close to the last few, one of the last few steps was fake. So it was kind of like meant to lure you into a false sense of security.
Before it fucking kills you.
So you're like, oh, okay, I got the fake steps out of the way, I can be safe now. But then it's like, surprise, bitch. And and then you're dead.
Okay, so apparently the designs here was made by fucking Miyamoto from Dark Souls.
Yeah, there you go.
For the sense of security.
So they make it down the stairs and make it to the first room, which is a giant room. It's like a giant arena filled with sand. And there's a mural on the wall. And the mural has a bunch of characters in it that it has a bunch of characters that all have a key around their neck. There's a dwarf in a robe. There's a snake guy. There is a guy with a spider body, or a human body and spider legs.
Oh shit.
There was a cyclops.
So
There was a four-arm. Oh, go ahead.
we have a Scottish person. We have a Australian. Jesus, we're going all over the English Isles.
Well, it had a blue woman with multiple arms carrying swords too. So you know, now they're getting the new. So the Cyclops. The Cyclops had a club. The woman had swords. The spider guy had swords, or had. No, the Cyclops had an axe.
Right.
And so, they looked at it and they're like, I think we have to. And Warren was like, I think we have to fight one of these to get through, to get the key to go through, because the room on the other side of the door had a little keyhole on it. And so they start walking around the room and poking around, and Warren pokes this key spear, and realizes that there's quicksand. Like, he goes to poke it and the key just sinks right in. And so he can't tell exactly where. They can't see it. Like, just by looking, you can't see where the quicksand is. And at this point, they realize that Vanessa and Christopher Vogel are going to be shortly behind them. They're coming behind. They're coming. They have to know they have the key, or they know they have the key. And at that point, they have to know that the Revenant's gone, because Tanu and Coulter woke up as well. So they know they're racing against time with Errol and Vanessa, hot on their trail. They have to decide which one they're going to fight. So Kendra suggests the dwarf. It's like, well, what about the dwarf? He doesn't have any weapons. It's like, well, yeah, that's what worries me the most. Because he doesn't have any weapons, he's probably a powerful magic user. And so they settled on, Kendra says, what about the Cyclops? Because he was carrying a big axe. Like, that axe looks heavy. Like, yeah, but Cyclopses are as agile and strong, or as strong as they are agile. So that would be a really bad fight. And so Warren picks the Minotaur, because he figures the Minotaur, the mace will be cumbersome enough for the Minotaur that he should be able to fight it with the spear. So they go around the room and they mark out where all the quicksand is. They test, and they know they're working against time, so they do it as quick as possible. They go around and they mark out where all the quicksand is, and then Warren goes and he figures if he's quick, he can touch the picture of the Minotaur, and then when it comes out of the picture, he can just kill it really quick. So he readies himself for a quick strike and goes and touches the picture of the Minotaur, and it disappears. The picture of the Minotaur disappears. And then it appears behind him, and Kendra yells, "It's behind you."
Yeah.
And Warren ducks out of the way just in time for the Minotaur to miss him. And it turns out the mace is not as cumbersome for the Minotaur as he had hoped. And
he's struggling pretty hard with the Minotaur. But Warren's a pretty capable fighter, and it's going back and forth. And then the Minotaur was baiting Warren in the Minotaur was baiting Warren in with to try to make him strike. He was like leaving himself open, and so Warren took the bait, tries to strike the Minotaur in the chest, and the Minotaur grabs the spear and yanks it away from Warren. And then so Warren runs away, and the Minotaur takes the spear and throws it and hits Warren in the stomach with it. Yeah. And so Kendra and Kendra had the glove. So Kendra still had the glove through this whole time, and while this fight's going on, Warren told her to hold still because she doesn't want to draw the attention of the fucking Minotaur.
Shit.
So she's holding still and invisible. The Minotaur hits Warren, and then Kendra throws a flashlight and hits the Minotaur in the back. And then the Minotaur starts sniffing, because he could smell her, but he couldn't see her because she's invisible, but he starts sniffing the air to try to find her. And Warren pulls the spear out of his stomach and is yelling as he gets the Minotaur's attention. So the Minotaur, he takes the spear out of his stomach, and so the Minotaur starts coming to him. And Warren loses his footing and steps inside. He steps backwards, and he's stumbling because he got fucking hit in the stomach with a spear. Yeah, so he's stumbling, and he slips into one of the quicksand pits. Like his leg slips into the quicksand pit up to his thigh, and the Minotaur comes up on him. And when he does, Warren thrusts the spear up into the Minotaur's, under his rib cage, into his heart. And then gives it a good twist to make sure, and kills the Minotaur. So it was a feint. Warren did it on purpose to try to. That's how he lured the Minotaur in.
So out of the two fainting baiters, Warren was the master baiting.
He was the master baiter. Yeah. So they get up and get the key. And there was they get the key, and then there was an axe in the room too. But they take the key off the Minotaur's neck, and then they take an axe and go into the next room. And in the next room, there's a giant mural full of monkeys. Some small, some big, all sorts of different monkeys. And so
hopefully no chimpanzees, right?
Yeah, no, there was giant chimpanzees, all sorts of things, all sorts of monkeys.
Oh dear God.
So after they kill the Minotaur, they leave the room. Kendra's carrying an axe, and when they walk into the room with the monkeys, all of a sudden the axe disappears from Kendra's hands. And she looks up, and one of the monkeys is holding the fucking axe. And then all of a sudden a monkey appears, and it's holding the axe. So that room was designed to make it so that you couldn't take any weapons with you into the next chamber.
Right.
Aside from the key. Because the key was a spear, the key turned into a weapon.
Yeah.
So they use Warren kills the monkey. And after the whole thing is, Kendra asked Warren how he's feeling. Like, how are you feeling? And he says, stabbed. So.
What did he say?
Yeah. Warren's a really great character. He's really funny, and he's really funny and witty. He's a very charming character.
Like one of the twins from Harry Potter, the guy who got a
Yeah,
hole blast in his ear is like, "Huh, I'm holy."
it's kind of like that. I was gonna say they're kind of like yeah, one of the other um I wasn't thinking of the Weasley twin, but like he kind of is that righteous adventuring type dude.
Yeah.
Um anyhow, so Warren kills the monkey and Kendra goes to pick the axe back up and Warren's like, don't, because clearly this room is designed, or this room must be designed for us to not take any weapons into the next room except for the key. And so then they make it through the monkey room and they find the next room is where the vault is, where the artifact is kept. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because that's going to be the next one, and we're going to talk. That's going to be the next episode. But and then that will be the final episode for this book, and then we'll move on to book 3.
You got a little bit of a hint about who that might be, what kind of creature maybe.
So they go in and they find it's a cat.
Oh.
There's a little tiny cat, little black cat sitting on a pedestal in the middle of this room. But first off, that's what the vault was. But first off, they walk into the room and it's just a long catwalk with long catwalk with like a super long drop down to the bottom, which is where the vault is. It's clear down at the bottom, and then spikes at the top of the ceiling.
Oh no.
And so Warren goes down to the alcove there's an alcove at the end, and Warren goes down to it and comes out with a little stick. And when he turns the stick, he floats. Turns it. There's a black and a white tip on it. It's a little ivory stick with a black and white tip. When he turns the black tip up, then he floats up. When he turns the black tip down, then he floats down. And you just hold it even to kind of equalize gravity.
Cool.
Yeah, so you can only go up and down with it. You can't go side to side. So they got to do something else with that. So they figure out how to use the things and move around with the sticks. And they so they decide they're going to go down to the floor, and then Warren says, well, I'm going to go ahead and make sure nobody can follow us. So he takes the other sticks and tries to throw them out. He throws them down in the hole, but they float back up into position and go back into their little holder in the alcove.
Of course they do.
Yeah, so they can't get rid of them. But anyhow, so they go down and find the vault, which was a little black cat with a key around its neck.
Right.
And they weren't sure what they needed to do with it. Like maybe they needed to smash it. And so they go up to pet it or they go up to touch it and it comes to life. And it's like a regular little black house cat with a key around its neck, and it's pretty friendly. And it comes up to him and is rubbing up against him, and then they take the key off its neck, and that's when it gets mad. So they take the key off the cat's neck and the little cat's neck, and it gets mad and it attacks them. And so then they have to kill the little cat. And then they had to kill the little cat. And then once they killed it, it reformed into a bigger cat, a slightly bigger cat. And then, so that one was pretty easy to dispatch. And then he killed it again, or it turned into a lynx, like a slightly bigger cat that wasn't as easy to kill, took a little more effort. Oh yeah, okay, so first off, I forgot. So he took the key off the little cat's neck, and he found a keyhole in the key spear. There's a little tiny keyhole near the base of it, and he turned that, and a sword came out of it.
Right.
So it's like a sword cane the whole time. It's got a sword inside of it. It's a sword and a spear. And so then they have two weapons. They have a sword and a spear.
Right.
So, and it's a hiltless sword, kind of like I kind of pictured it like a non-curved katana type thing, but it just is a long, really razor sharp sword.
Yeah.
So they kill the first two. They're on the. He's on the getting ready to kill the fourth one. And which is like a kind of a larger lynx. So he kills that one. The next one is a larger like panther animal, and that's when
So
Errol and
it
Vanessa
just becomes
show up.
bigger and bigger and bigger for every time you kill the damn thing.
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah, it's just getting bigger and bigger. And so Errol and Vanessa show up then. Or Christopher Vogel and Vanessa show up. Oh. Shit. One thing that I need to mention too, and I think I have completely forgot to mention, hasn't come up. Or I don't know if it's come up or not, but Kendra can recharge magical artifacts.
No, you
by
have
touching
not
them.
mentioned. You have not mentioned.
Okay,
that.
yeah. So Kendra can, and they tested this. Coulter tested this with Kendra. He did a few things to test with Kendra about. He determined that distractor spells don't work on her, and determined that she could recharge magical artifacts with her touch, because she is a really. Turns out she's a really powerful wellspring of magical energy now. She has a connection to the fairy world.
Oh, and fairies
And
can
so then
recharge
that gives
magic.
her. Well, no, it's just that she can, because she just has that. It's just channeled into her.
Gotcha.
So anyhow, so Kendra, because they weren't sure if the magical artifact was going to have any energy to it, so they weren't sure if they were going to be able to use it, without Kendra. So that's when that's when Vanessa and Errol show up, and then they keep fighting. And I'm not gonna go into any more detail on that, because that's when the fight picks up and it gets really cool. And we'll save that for next episode, because I think the final guardian of that would make a really cool. Would make a really cool picture.
Yeah.
And it might be one of those like longer meandering type episodes, but
So nothing out of the
because
usual
I
then,
think
huh?
I think that image is going to be harder to draw, but so yeah, next episode will be about the vault for the artifact, and then I'll talk about the end of the book then, because the end of the book really sets the stage for the rest of the story, in regards to, like, they realize it's not so black and white. Like, who they can trust and who they can't trust is not so cut and dry, and that the forces of evil are much farther along than any of the good people thought.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of what evil does. It works really much under the shadow, does its own
Yeah.
thing, and then it's like, ha! We are revealing ourselves when we are strong, bitches.
But yeah, so that's the and they also put a lot of emphasis in there about once you enter a lot of those vaults and stuff like that. Once you enter, you can't leave. The traps going in, you can defeat the traps going in, but you can't defeat the traps going out. Traps going in are meant to be defeated. Traps going out are not.
So what is this called? Hotel California?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh boy.
But so once Kendra came in, it wasn't an option for her to just like sneak out and escape.
No.
Because, I mean, if adventurers, and this is what Warren explained in the book, which I think is really great, because these are books meant for young adult. Like, it's young adult fiction. And
Right.
so some of the things that he points out might not make immediate sense to some kids. Some of the target audience might not intuit immediately what the implication of if you could go in and out of a vault would be.
Right.
And Warren just explains that, well, if you could leave a vault, then adventurers would just go in and try to figure out how to defeat each trap and then leave.
Right.
Right, like they beat one and then run up to the other one and then go research how to beat it and then come back and try to beat it.
Yeah, pretty
so
much
it's
like how you
cheating.
play a video game, right? Life isn't a video
Right,
game.
it's like it's kind of like I would equate it to when you pause a fight in Skyrim or The Witcher even and eat 20 wheels of cheese.
That's
That's kind of how I think about it.
All the
It's
cheese.
like it subverts, yeah.
No, seriously,
Because it's just cheating.
It is.
It's kind of cheating. Like it's or I guess more realistically, it's like Dark Souls.
Yes.
Except for, probably with fewer deaths, but probably still nearly as many deaths.
I feel life fucks you over harder than Dark Souls sometimes.
Oh.
I mean, at least in Dark Souls, you don't have to pay fucking taxes.
Yeah, for real.
When fucking Dark Souls is a better place than fucking real life, who knows?
Right.
Sure, everything's
We're in the Dark Souls universe.
Yeah, sure, everything's fucked, but you don't have to pay taxes, and at least when you kill a monster, it stays dead unless it's a mob. And if it's a boss, you might meet it later sometime. So yeah, it's exactly like real life. Fuck.
Right. Yeah, no shit.
Well, that's the best kind of coming of age story, at least. Shit's fucked, and you gotta deal with it.
Well, it's kind of... I mean, that's kind of the thrust of a lot of stories anyways. I mean, it's kind of the thrust of life in most regards.
I mean, the best stories of life is the one where you have to accept that things change, and you just gotta deal with the changes.
And anyhow, so the end of okay. I'll guess I'll jump in and just recap the end of this book and the next episode we do. I'll recap the end of the book and how it really foreshadows everything that's happening. Makes everybody realize the situation they're in is far more dire than they actually realized.
Yeah. And also, we're gonna be dealing with a cat, so that's nice.
Yeah. So, man, I recently, speaking of cats, I recently lost a cat back in January, and I've been contemplating, because I still have my other two, but my younger cat, like, he wants to play and stuff, but my older one-eyed grumpy kitty has no tolerance for that kind of tomfoolery, and and also very sharp claws. So I was toying with the idea of getting another kitten here. So
that's a bad idea.
It's just like give Snake someone to play with.
Snake.
So
Snake.
It's
Sorry,
a snake.
I had to.
Yeah, no, I always think it's a snake every time I hear it. It's a snake. Oh, it's a snake.
Betcher, mushroom.
See, kids now don't get that. They don't get the badger mushroom meme.
Seriously?
Yeah, they don't. The younger kids, because it's an old Flash cartoon. They never watched the badger
It's
mushroom
Weeble
thing.
stuff. He's still even active on YouTube.
I posted a video about that, or a meme about that on one of my Discords. That it's like my brain. It was one of those my brain memes, and it was full of badgers and mushrooms.
Yeah.
And my son was like, "I don't get it." was like, it's
My
the Badger,
God.
Badger, Badger mushroom song. And both of my boys were like, I've never heard that before. I'm like, I hate both of you.
Wow.
And so then I
Failures.
had to play it for him. Because, you know, they weren't alive when that stuff. Well, Kaiser was. Kaiser, my older son, he was. But my
Yeah.
younger son wasn't alive when that stuff really. It's from 2003. So something like that. Like the Badger mushroom thing is super
I
old.
watched that shit when it was new.
Yep. Yep, me too.
Remember the
Because I had my 3
Toast
cats
King?
and I used. What's that?
Remember Toast King? On the
Toast
moon.
King?
Yeah, the same dude. He made a series called
Oh,
The Toast King, and
oh
the
yeah.
Insanity Prawn guy.
I never watched those ones.
You should. It's stupid
But I
fun.
should go back and find it.
Hitler's
Yeah.
in a mech on the moon.
Okay, sold. I gotta go watch that. I like Iron Skies, dude. Holy crap! Have you seen Iron Skies?
I've seen the first one. I fucking love it. The
Oh,
Goldamarung.
it's so good. It's
It's a
so good. I haven't
fucking
seen the second one.
phone.
Oh,
All right, all
oh
right.
man! And speaking of, dude, I just watched Kung Fury again the other day.
Wait, that's the one with that chick that runs super fast, right? And the guy who turns into a frog, kind of.
No,
No? Oh.
no. That's Kung Fu Hustle. You're thinking of Kung Fu Hustle. No, Kung Fury was a little short 30-minute video by Laser Unicorn on YouTube,
Really?
and it is 30 minutes of the most epic. That's where Hacker Man comes from.
Oh.
Is from Kung Fury. He hacks through time. He hacks him back in time.
Ah.
that is one of the with Triceracop and
Wait, that's where
was
Triceracop
it?
is from?
Yeah, Triceracop is from Kung Fury. Yeah, Triceracop and I think barbarian. Fuck, I can't remember how to say her name. It's like
Parrot
Barbarian
Partridge.
Arena or something. It's a
Barbarian.
weird name. It's like Barbarina and Barbarian mixed together. I can't remember exactly how to. But
Barbarina.
yeah, Kung Fury is that's 30 minutes of your life that you will not regret. You will not regret spending. And it's good because if it was any longer than 30 minutes, it would start getting tedious. But you know, it's only 30 minutes, and so.
Well, back in the day when YouTube
the
was
plot of it.
fucking awesome, right?
Well, the plot of it, it's actually, I don't think it's that old. I think it's maybe, I don't even think it's 10 years old. But the plot of the movie is they have to go back in time. So there's a detective cop named Kung Fury. It's his name. And he got simultaneously, he got struck by lightning while being bit by a cobra. It turned him into the kung fu badass.
Okay.
So as a cop, and so he turns like the best cop, and his name is Kung Fury. And so what happens is Hitler calls up the police station where they're at and fires his gun into the phone, and the phone is firing bullets everywhere. And so Hitler kills a bunch of cops, dude. Hitler kills all the cops by shooting into the gun. And so they go back in time to kill Hitler. Well, Hacker Man hacks him back in time to go kill Hitler. Oh, it's so good. They go find they find laser raptors. Oh, laser raptors. I thought those were extinct. It's so good. And it's just full of this goofy, over-the-top action.
Okay, Kung Fury is hereby officially on my list.
You gotta, dude. You gotta watch Kung Fury. It's so good.
What's another one where a dude ends up fighting a cow, Matrix style, against a dude who is called
that's
Master...
Kung Pao.
Yeah, Kung Pao. He ends up this evil guy called Master Pain, but my name is Betty.
Yeah. I'm not as big on that one. I know people really love that show,
Oh, dude,
and
I
there's
watched
some
it when
funny parts
I
to
watched it
it.
when I was a fucking stupid ass kid, so of course I loved it. It was stupid.
Oh
but-
yeah. No, I mean it's my son loves it. He thinks it's hilarious. But and I understand it's supposed to be like a parody of the old kung fu movies, but it's just, to me, it was just a little too goofy. With like the gopher chucks, that thing was kind of like that was kind of one of those things that I'm like, that's kind of dumb. Like that was unnecessarily goofy in my opinion. Um,
Let's put it
but
like
like the part where
this.
his girlfriend is named like wee 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 or whatever, that's hilarious.
And she goes like,
Um,
wee you, chosen one, wee wee.
yeah, wee wee, yeah, that shit's funny as hell. That's funny.
And his kung
yeah.
fu master who turns out to be a gay guy.
Yeah. And then like fighting the cow was just, again, that was one of those things. It was like, it's just a little too goofy. But then I was also really cynical about those goofy movies back then, just because I was tired of all the Jim Carrey movies and so many goofy the Scary Movie. There were so many of those like Scary Movie parody
They
style
stopped being
things
good.
back then.
Like epic
They stopped
movie and
being
shit
funny.
like that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they just got like not another teen movie, and it's like they just started getting trite to me.
Tried to be
But, you know-
they tried to be a parody and ironic about themselves, but that didn't even make it
Right.
better.
But like I was in my 20s when those movies came out too, so I was not the teenage audience that they were aiming for.
Oh, I was the audience they
know?
were aiming for, and even I
Yeah.
started hating it.
Yeah. So, well, it was like they just started overdoing it, and it's funny how it goes in cycles that way.
It does.
Because we started getting a lot of parodies. Like in the 80s, there was a shit ton of parody movies. Because Airplane was a parody movie.
Oh,
You know,
and
then, like-
Spaceballs. That's
Yeah.
oh,
yeah.
that is god tier parody, dude.
Oh, that is top
I don't
tier.
remember the name of the dude who makes those movies, but
That was Mel Brooks. Mel
Yeah.
Brooks did
Mel Brooks
that
is
and
a
Blazing Saddles.
Mel Brooks
Oh
is
yeah.
a god on the cinematic scene.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what's funny about Mel Brooks too is that he's pretty based.
Yeah, Mel
Right, like I
Brooks-
mean, well, obviously, but not like he's in a JQ kind of base, but like he understands that you have to have free speech, right? In order for comedy to actually be funny, you have to have free speech. Otherwise, it's going to start getting dumb.
has what we refer as common sense, that rare ability to just see
Yeah.
things as they are and be like, hey, I'm sure it's a bit crass, but if you want it to be funny, you gotta push buttons.
Well, you know, a dude that grew up with the actual realities of the Holocaust being well within living memory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for a Jewish dude who's like, and you know, not to harp on that, but a guy who actually had who saw real hardship and struggle, and came out on the other side of it, you know, with a really good sense of humor. Unlike,
I mean, gallows
you know,
humor, dark humor, but it's not just that kind of he went on and be genuinely funny.
oh man, he was Mel Brooks is the king, dude.
It's just amazing.
The king. There are fewer, like, and I'm sure he made some not so great movies, but there's not too many of them that I can think of that are.
Let's be fair.
Like,
even if you find one that is technically not as good, it's still gonna be better than anything you find today.
Right.
Everyone is a
His
wannabe,
movies
or
are iconic, dude.
they're just trying to be safe, and that's the thing I hate. Comedy isn't supposed to be safe; it's supposed to be fucking comedy. You gotta push buttons.
Yeah,
you gotta
absolutely.
take risks.
Yeah, because well, that's what makes shit funny.
Well, that's why kind of
Because if
being a
it's not,
troll is funny too, because push buttons, like, we do it constantly on the Sultans as well, you know? Take a few shots at each
totally.
other, make fun, like, the constant Norwegian, Swedish jokes, the constant Anglo jokes. it's all part of the fun, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, there's so much dire shit in the world. And there's so many more things are so much more important than being offended by words,
Yeah.
right? Like,
You gotta be a special kind of retard to be so focused on that shit.
right? Like, I mean, there's actual, there's, I mean, and there's actual genocides happening in the world.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about the Israel-Palestine thing. I mean, China has been genociding those Uyghurs for a
Yeah.
long time.
And then when we
Right.
suddenly start talking about the Afrikaners, oh, well, nobody cares about them. Because they're the wrong color. Dick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, but there's several active genocides in the world. It's like horrible, awful, evil shit. You know, there's billionaires that are trying to poison us through insects. There's so much grim shit in the world that laughing at it or laughing at it in an inappropriate way or whatever probably should be the least of anyone's fucking concerns. Right, pretty far down on the list of anything people should really give a shit about. And the fact that people have, like, that your life is so cushy, you know, I mean, that's maybe part of the reason why I don't care about swearing and stuff like that, is because I got real life shit.
I mean,
You know?
all
Like,
things considered, I got a pretty decent job, pretty comfy situation. But even I understand. Even I got my own fucking shit to deal with.
right. You know,
I got it. I got some skeletons in the closet. I got some fucking problems I caused for myself that I'm still paying for.
Right? Like, I got two fucking ex-wives.
You got that shit, and I got enough shit to worry about. That saying a word that make a college-educated sofa kid just be offended again. I don't care, because me and the rest of the world have actual fucking problems to deal with.
Right.
Like taxes.
Well,
Fuck
and
those things.
Oh man. Yeah, taxes are. Yeah, don't get me started on that. Thankfully, my taxes got filed early. My sister's an accountant. She did that shit for me. She's all done with tax season now.
I got my father's sister, my aunt on the father's side. It's oh shit. She is also an accountant, so she helped me this year, resulting in me getting actually a tax return for the first time in 6 fucking years.
Wow. I didn't realize they did that there.
Oh, they do that in Norway.
I thought all extra taxes just went to the state, comrade.
You know, it's, again, we are close to being a fucking socialist country, not quite there, but just you wait. As soon as, if we get another 4 years with a fucking AP, that'll be a different story.
I honestly think these next few years in European politics are going to be very interesting.
I just hope a certain JD, I just hope a certain DJ, let's say a DJ, I hope a certain DJ just keeps harping on and insults enough people.
Well, I'm not gonna go into any specifics on what I do or don't want. You know, broadly speaking, because I know we're not gonna get into politics on the channel here. But yeah, I think that it's definitely gonna be interesting. And you know, on the plus side of things, interesting things generally inspire and create really good art.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, in 15, 20 years after all this disaster is said and done, there's going to be some killer art that comes out as a result of it.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Stone Toss and Alex. I can't pronounce his other name, but people who do some really good art, and they're the people they are going to inspire. I'm looking forward to that.
Stone Toss is hilarious.
Oh, he is.
Just some super funny things.
Sure. And I don't condone every opinion, but Jesus Christ, they are funny regardless.
There's some funny things in there. Yeah, for sure.
And of course, I wish they had a little bit more severe opinions about other things, but hey, it's just me being a be a what's it called? Cynical bastard.
Yeah, yeah.
Then again, even though I am cynical, I have this little I have this sense that things will get better, because that's just
Yeah.
humanity. No matter how much people are gonna try fuck over, again, good times don't last forever, but neither do bad times. The only difference
Right.
is how long they're gonna last, because tyrants always fall.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, eventually. They
Yeah.
do. You're right.
Because when
And
you're someone who is basing your entire existence of fucking people over, in the end you're gonna fuck over so much you start fucking over yourself.
oh well, yeah. I mean, you can only burn so many bridges until you've got nowhere else to go.
And especially when it
So,
started getting
so
so
you
face
corner
off in
yourself.
today's society. That's the best part.
So, but yeah, I think anyhow, I think there's gonna be some interesting times coming.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been interesting times for us for a hot minute, but that coincides with other historical precedences as well.
Oh,
You know,
it's
the turn of the
gonna.
century really was an interesting thing.
Oh yeah, like the turn. Hell, there's been some new bullshit every decade at this point.
Yep. Yep. Well, it generally is every decade that something changes. You know, yeah. I mean, and that's really the big revolution at the turn of the century was really just the turn of the decade.
Yep.
Is but yeah, yeah. I hmm. Yeah, I guess maybe I'm just glad I'm in America right
Mhm.
now.
I'm glad I'm Norwegian because I wouldn't want to be I'd either be an American or I'd be a Norwegian, and thank God I'm a fucking Norwegian. Because yes,
Yeah.
taxes suck, but at least I got everything else going for me so far.
Right.
At least I'm not a fucking Swede. And to every Swede listening, you know why.
Shade Row.
They're Swedes. It's kind of expected at this point. They throw shade at Norwegians. It's a tit for tat.
Oh
man.
yeah, no, it's a gentle ribbing back and forth. I understand.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you do between states, except, well, less guns.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Except for we don't like California or New York.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
I'm talking about America. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
talking about shade throne. Jesus.
Yeah, this is
Alright.
going along really well.
Thank you. It's gonna take a little bit of a while, but we're getting there, slowly but
So,
surely.
What am I gonna do? We could circle back.
Oh.
We've wandered so far away from the stories here. So
I mean, we managed to keep the story pretty consistency for
we did.
a long time, so we're doing pretty good actually by our
Yeah.
regular standards.
I got all the story. I got most of the story out. So
Oh, yeah.
prior to the interruption.
Yep.
Um,
How dare they? I'm offended.
Roofing off the loop.
Maybe it was good with a little
But,
bit of a break
so-
too.
So now, what's your opinion of the Minotaur as a monster?
Honestly, the first Greek monster I really got to understand was the Minotaur, and I fucking love it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, like, it is one of those kind of monsters. When I see it, I'm always interested because, again, ever since my childhood, it's the idea of this bull-headed monster walking through labyrinths, you just being one of those savage brutes. It's kind of fucking badass.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, Daedalus's myth was really, or Daedalus's,
It was
because I love that
Theseus?
word. Daedalus. That's the labyrinth
Yeah,
where the
Daedalus'
Minotaur
labyrinth.
was. Yep.
Yep.
Because that's a
and
fun
his
word to say, Daedalus.
Daedalus. Daedalus.
But yeah, I agree. I think it's a really cool, creature.
Yeah.
It's an interesting mix of, because bulls are very aggressive, right? Like they're,
Yep.
as to where how cows are really docile and everything like that. But it's not because it's not a meat-eating creature. It doesn't necessarily seem as like bloodthirsty. in the same way as something that you know is going to eat you after it kills you. And so I've always attributed a bit more intelligence to Minotaurs, I think, as a result of that.
Yeah.
Um,
Except for bulls, so they really like just goring you.
yeah, well, bulls are just mean, you know. But so it stands to reason that a monster that incorporates a bull,
Yeah.
would make sense, you know.
Yeah,
Of course, bulls are mean.
the
Have
thing
you ever
about the
seen the
bull.
size of their Johnsons? They're huge.
Well, I worked on a
They
farm,
make
and I've been seeing the different breeding seasons. Let's put it like that. Yeah.
yeah.
You see some
I
weird
mean,
shit when you work on a farm.
you can get things here called bully sticks. They sell them at the Zamzos here. Bully sticks. They're a chew toy for your dog, and it's like 3 foot long, right? It's just like 3 foot long, dried out cow
Wait.
wiener. Bull wiener. It's a freaking bull long.
So
Bull
you
dong.
can just say to your dog, "Eat a dick."
Yeah, pretty much. Like, here you go, buddy. Eat a dick.
Here's a Richard for you.
They're called
Jesus.
bully sticks.
Dick, dude. Oh fuck! I thought eating pigtails was weird.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird. Eating pigtails is weird.
It is
I think
fucking
eating
weird.
most
But now you're
animals-
telling me that eating bull dicks.
Oh, that's a dog chew toy. That's not like a thing. Well, except for I bet there's people that actually eat it. I mean, there has to be.
China and
There's
France.
I bet there's
dude.
in your.
China
You know
and
what?
France.
Everybody
exist.
eats it. You know, but so do McDonald's hamburgers.
Now with
And
5
that
times
shit's
more
all
bull
lips and
penis.
assholes too. So.
Oh, let's not give him
Yeah.
too many ideas.
But I think, yeah, bulls are a very relatable animal because most people, most people know, you know, have an understanding or a knowledge of bulls in some way.
Yep.
Right, like they're ubiquitous and around the world. All agrarian cultures have bulls. So.
Yep.
Of one
And they can
breed
be
or
really
another.
scary first time you meet one, because being a 5-year little old boy and suddenly the neighbor's bull decides to ram out of the fucking barn and have a little bit of run around the 3 different farms. Kind of scary when you're a kid, and suddenly we're seeing a massive ass animal just running like crazy, and it looks like it's running for you, so, you know, panic.
Yeah. And they're fucking huge too.
Yes.
Bulls are generally pretty big.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Put a average sized bull beside a car, and you're gonna be like, if that thing actually rams the car, that thing might actually turn it around.
Right? It's I mean, you see videos of them when they get loose on the, or like when they do the running of the bulls in Spain or whatnot. I don't know if they still do that or.
Oh, they stopped it because of animal abuse.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, well, duh. But that makes perfect sense. Communists took that shit over too. But they ragdoll motherfuckers.
Yeah,
right? Like.
it is a dual risk sport because the matadors don't go in there being like, oh yes, I'm gonna stab him from a distance. No, he's gonna go in there and gonna try to gore the fucker, and he knowing that he might get gored as well.
Have you ever watched rodeo or anything like
Yes,
that?
I
don't know
have.
if they do those. They do bull riding competitions and shit there in Norway.
From time to time, we have this machine which fakes it, and I've tried it, and I managed to hang on for like 10 seconds before I fell flat on my face.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But not like actual bull riding, like an actual rodeo.
I've seen people do it. No fucking way I'm doing it unless I get paid $1 million.
Oh yeah, hell no.
Dollars.
Have you ever
not
seen it?
million
Have you ever seen it in person though?
Yes, I have.
It's wild shit.
It's fucking
badass. I grew up out in the country. I went to a ton of rodeos when I was a kid, and they're cool. You know, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of cool to watch those dudes do that. And if you can just appreciate how much actual talent or just balls it takes to get out there and try to ride one of these horrible fucking mean ass monsters, then
Yeah. I mean, the entire point of doing it is showing that you got guts, skill, and the balls.
yeah.
Here's the
Yeah,
funny thing. I was talking to this one chick where we just talked about different traditions that have been ended, and of course, she had a friend that was of the more modern persuasion, shall we say.
yeah.
And when we got to the matadors and all that stuff, she was like, "Oh, it's so offensive, it's terrible." But yeah, it's a proof. It's you're risking yourself. It's sort of a trial,
Well,
kind of like
yeah,
a
that's
trial by combat in a way.
oh,
'Cause
absolutely. It
yeah, because the
absolutely is,
bull
dude.
isn't
It is.
innocent. Yeah, the bull is at least the bull is 3 times your size, and you're just fighting it with spears and a sword.
Right. Well, and he's yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and he
Right? Like
makes it look
the
like a
bull
dance.
is super fucking aggressive.
Yes.
So I've never watched bullfighting, actually.
I haven't
Um,
seen it in person, but I had my father
just say,
had a TV channel which sent those things. I don't remember what it was
oh,
called, but
nice.
it had a lot of Matador recordings, and I fucking
Oh, nice.
loved it.
Yeah, I've never ever seen it. Like I've
It's
seen pictures of it, and like I don't actually ever think I've seen actually videos of it either.
if you go to YouTube, you
Like
can
a
find
full
you
fight
can
from start to finish.
if you can find it on YouTube. I recommend checking some of them out because, like, when it goes well, it looks easy, but holy crap, dude. The Matador has to be focused at every single moment because if he screws up
Oh,
even fucking once,
yeah.
that bull is gonna take retribution. And I have seen a horn that goes through a guy's thigh and comes out his rear, one of his
Yeah.
cheeks.
I think I've seen one. I think I've seen that picture too.
Yes.
Um,
So
that's
yes,
horrifying.
the Matador makes it look easy when he's good. When they're not as good, or if he's cocky, the bull will exact his just desserts.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with the bull. The bull fucks with you.
That's pretty, like, but it's because bulls are, they're crazy. Like, they're friggin' giant, muscular, uh, mean, angry things sometimes, you know? Like, and it's a fitting thing to make into a super powerful monster, right? Like, super strong. And, generally they're very combat capable too.
Oh yeah. Like
So,
I don't remember which, but I've heard that some countries would like take different bulls and just
uh-huh.
I think it was attach like tinder or some shit to their horns and light it on fire to send it out as a line breaker.
Oh, I could believe that.
It would fucking work though. Again, mess
So
with the
how
bull,
much
you
do you
get the
want to do
horns.
for the background here?
Well, it's said to be a sandy thingy, so I'm trying to see what I can
So
do.
you could do like a few small columns with some torches. Or not torches, actually. They have stone clusters. The whole area is lit by these things called sunstones, and Warren points that out, that the whole thing underground is lit by these things called sunstones, and sunstones are, if light hits one stone, it permeates through all of the stones. So they'll take the sunstones and put one of them up on a high hill somewhere that gets a lot of sunlight, um, and then it glows throughout then it brings all that sun, or the sunstones bring all that sun down into the arena.
Here comes the
So
sun. Doo 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 doo.
yeah, that's the whole of the tower is illuminated by sunstones.
Nice.
Another interesting thing about the sunstone, or about the tower, is when they went down to the entrance, prior to going into the arena with the Minotaurs, they went down to that entrance, or to that room. There was a bunch of writing all over And it was in a bunch of different languages, but Kendra can read them all because Kendra can read all the fairy languages. Just naturally, she can read all the fairy languages.
She's
So,
become rather OP since the first book, I noticed.
well, since it's just it becomes another part of her powers that she can read all the fairy languages, and she sees, or she reads a whole bunch of it's written all over that says this temple is outside of the bounds of the preserve. So it is not bound by the rules of the preserve, and you are
On your own, bitch.
yeah, you're on your own basically. It's like so you're not, well, because the rules are the preserve are you can't kill.
Ah.
So anybody who kills anybody else on the preserve forfeits the protection of the preserve. Which is why, again, that's why Seth said break his arms and legs instead of snap his fucking neck. You know? But that's also one of the ways that I think that's a clever way for the author to keep the books more PG than PG-13. If you know what I'm saying.
But yeah,
Right,
but
like,
even in PG scenes, you can have death. Like, take Animorphs, dude.
Yeah.
That shit,
Yeah, exactly.
That shit got
You can have
fucking-
death.
Oh.
Well, you would have death, but you would not have gratuitous, over-the-top violence. And I think that I always think the difference between a rated R movie and a PG-13 movie is the swearing.
Yeah, the PG ratings are kind of stupid, let's be honest.
Yeah. Our movie ratings are absolutely ridiculous, but I don't think too many people give much of a shit about them. They just aren't very relevant to most
I'm a
people
Norwegian.
watching.
I grew up. One of the first words I learned was swearing because my father was a farmer and he had a
Yeah.
temper. So
Yeah.
I know every single Norwegian swear that was possible to learn by the age of 6. Everything else was a bonus.
But
at that point.
yeah, so. But I think that makes. But making the rules of the treaty so that you can't kill somebody on the preserve is a good way to not have to describe a gruesome death of somebody. You know, to not have to make it seem like
It
like
doesn't get
everybody's
like
dying
the-
left and right.
Yeah,
Right?
but
Like that's why the fairies didn't kill Seth when he turned that one into an imp.
Yeah.
You know, that's why they
But it's
turned
not
him
just
into.
it's not just that, dude. It also kind of makes you realize, because you can kill and you can do it brutally too. It's just that as a PG, you can't do it as often, which makes it when a brutal death happens or death
Right.
in general, it means a lot more.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
It does force the writers to be more to invest more into characters.
Yeah, and here's
They're not
another
just gonna
thing.
kill them off like
Yeah,
John
because
Wick.
you have
Just
seen
killing
you
people
have
left and right.
Yeah, but again, sometimes it's cool, sometimes it's a bit too much. In John Wick, it works. But the thing for me though is,
Yeah.
how many Disney movies have you seen of the good Disney movies?
Well, now that's a heavy qualifier because how far back do you qualify before? I personally don't think Disney's put out anything good since the friggin' probably 70s. So,
So you
because
haven't,
I'm very
you haven't
cynical
seen
about
the
Disney.
you haven't seen the Bells of Notre Dame, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Nah, I just didn't care for it that much.
Oh, honestly,
Because I
one of
was
the best
really
ones.
cynical about those movies. You know, I always felt they were kind of venal cash grabs, banking on the popularity of something else and just exploiting the common zeitgeist to really kind of propagandize and capture the masses.
I get what you mean,
Right.
but in some of them, they might be true in some of them, but a lot of them actually were a bit. It was a bit more. The thing about the Hunchback is that it was the first time, at least to what I could see in an animated, at least in the Disney of my generation, that's when they started doing, playing a bit more with different kind of subjects, like entirety of Count Frollo.
Well,
Uh,
you know why?
yeah.
It's because Disney had started to go woke at that point, dude, with Notre Dame.
No, again,
They
it
were in the
wasn't.
precursors of it. No. And
Yes,
that
they
movie
were the
was really
precursors
meant to
of it,
shit
but
on the church.
I'm talking. Yes, shit on the church, but you still.
That's what that movie was meant. That's the psyop behind that movie. Is it was meant to shit on the church, and it preyed on that.
No, that was
It also-
pretty much Robert, dude.
Robert.
Yeah, I've had this discussion with other people before.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about going on one of these. It's all a psyop, dude. Again, it was a good movie. The Hunchback of Notre Dame is a good movie. It has a really good villain. But again,
Yeah.
psyop or not,
Okay, no.
what it was that
I
there's
apologize
the
because
thing-
you
yeah.
liked it. Yeah, you like the
Here-
movie, and that's all that matters. I apologize.
But also
all the
it's
other
not a
bullshit's
shitting on the
unimportant, so.
church. It's kind of
Right.
clear you
No,
haven't
no,
seen
no.
it. But now I'm just gonna.
Oh no,
okay.
I've seen it. I have actually seen it.
Then it
been a
doesn't
long
shit on the
time.
church. It shits on the institution within the church. You have the priest himself, right? The dude who forces Frollo
Yeah.
to take care of the Hunchback. He's the man of God. Frollo himself is just a dude who uses that power. He's not even a priest in the movie.
Well, it's a more charged topic than I think we need to
The point is that
on this channel, but yeah,
the whole point of the movie was pointing out
yeah.
Frollo's death, right? Because that shit was that thing is noticeable, very noticeable, because it is quite obvious in what's happening to Frollo and where he's going, because the dude is through his own machinations, and that's something I love with like the old series, is that the end comes because of their own actions. They're literally causing their own deaths under their own feet. And Frollo, before he falls to his death on the gargoyle that he had chopped up, he clings to it, and the damn thing lights up with hellfire as he plunges down into the burning abyss.
Yeah, no, it reminds me of the Joker in the first Batman movie.
Oh yeah.
And that idea that kind of karma will come to get you.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that evil will ultimately face retribution through their own they'll be their own downfall.
Yes.
Right, because you can only be evil for so long before things just completely fall apart.
Yep.
Now that's a really noble idea, but I don't know how true it is, if I'm honest. We all like the idea of karma. Like, I love the idea of karma. I love the idea of people getting what's coming to them. But
I'm a full believer of karma, dude.
But Henry Kissinger died peacefully in his sleep. Right? Like, that's not karma. Dick Cheney never got dragged behind a tractor through a burning field like he should have been. So he completely escaped karma.
There is. I'm one of those weirdos who believe there's more between this heaven and the earth. So, again, there are more retributions to it too. Because again, if you truly got away, your legacy would have been unharmed too. Yeah. His legacy is not unharmed. Neither of them are.
No, and well, that's always the kind of the thrust of a lot of stories. Of course, it has to be the thrust of the story. It's a fucking stupid thing for me to say, is that evil people are punished.
Yep.
You know? Because otherwise, they're nihilistic, they're too close to reality, and nobody wants to read that. Bad guys need to be punished.
Bad guys do get punished.
And,
it's all a matter of time.
Right. Yeah.
Then again, I
Yeah,
might just
and
be
they'll be
helping
their own
Opium.
downfall.
I might be
Also,
deluded, but that's where you
oh
said it.
no,
Actually, that's where it is, because bad guys always cause their own demise. We just
yeah,
need to
yeah,
outlast those fuckers, and that's it.
right. Well, because you can only ruin something before long again, before it
Exactly.
completely falls apart, and you know, you can only not maintain something before it falls apart
Yep.
and is useless,
Yeah, because
right?
the real heroes in movies like that, in stories in general, they manage to outlast the villain. At least in the my favorite stories, the hero doesn't just brutally murder the villain. They outlast him until his own mistakes are the ones that brings him down.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
think about this
and
so far?
I'm digging it, dude. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
I really like the. I think the background might you could make that just a tad lighter, but I know you can do that. So
Yeah. Let's see. I can see. What? Let's see.
because I know that's just a slider.
Yes, it is. Let's see what I can. There's a lot of things I can do. So
It's wild how technical this process is now.
it is.
Right, the process of doing these digital drawings and stuff instead of.
And as soon as I get a hold of my newest one, because I have gotten a new drawing tablet with a different.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, also gotten the Krita. So basically, the next few from now on, the art streams I'm gonna do, they're
Uh
gonna
huh.
be made with that app.
Oh, nice.
Oh wait,
Does that work? Does it plug in better to OBS and all that stuff?
that's what I'm hoping.
Nice.
Bezik's gonna have fun helping me with that. Let's see. So should I lessen the light
Let's
on the Minotaur a bit?
see.
Let's see. I need your eyes, buddy. What do you think
Okay.
looks best? Starting down at this is 100.
Uh,
This is 50.
and go to about 80, I think. Let's see.
There we go.
And, yeah, I think that's probably. He stands out a lot more on the background at that one right there. How does that look to you?
Yeah. To me, the screen is darker when I draw, but looking at the computer, it becomes a lot more brighter. And
Okay.
there was this one fella who said I should try and play more with negative spaces. So I haven't really used that much. So that is a learning process I need to get into.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
for
so
sure.
far, sort of like I'm trying to get the sand dunes behind them, just blending slowly behind
Oh
those
yeah, no,
stones.
it looks good. It looks good.
Thank you. So you want to consider this concluded, or anything
Oh
else you
yeah.
see I could try and do? Like,
Um. No, yeah, I think this looks good.
all
You
right.
can't even see the Minotaur's balls, and that's perfect.
Yes, because I'm never gonna do that kind of shit unless people pay me all fucking lot of money.
and the and the feet aren't near as detailed as some people would like, but we don't like those people.
Again, I am not Rosa, and her fetishes can
Oh,
stick to her
just joking.
socks. I hope I'm glad she doesn't watch my content because she's probably gonna give me shit for that if she figures this out. And yes, I
Rose
know
is
you were
hilarious.
groomed by your own chat, Rosa. Totally.
Rose is hilarious.
She is fucking amazing. Well,
But yeah, this is red.
yeah, well then
So
I guess we can conclude this so far. Been
yes.
like it. I get to try new things, get to try to polish old styles, and another thing with having fucking 3-week breaks between each of these, or a month
Yeah.
break between each of these, it gives me time to just recharge and start over.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I bet all the time on the boat makes doing stuff like this so much more rewarding.
Oh yeah, when I'm on the boat, I hardly have any fucking time to draw anymore. It's just work,
Yeah.
tiring stuff.
Yeah.
And especially as we're heading
So-
towards summer, yay. But that aside, bitching, moaning, and whining as we do, I think it's time that we conclude this show. So I would like to really thank you, Dave, for joining me on this. As usual, it's been just a pleasure having you here, and I look forward to the next round because that's going to be a big fun one.
Yeah, dude, next one's gonna be a good one.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
So,
have like evil kitty cats
yep.
die, not dying as they always do. Cats never really
The
die, do they?
the conclusion of Fablehaven Book 2, Rise of the Evening Star.
Excellent, and then we'll
In
go
the
right to
next episode of
book
Simply
three
Sketchy, or
afterwards.
next episode of Simply Sketchy that I am in.
Hell yeah. And always a good time. Though if you want to
Yep.
do a little bit of another Elden Ring video too, or some other nerd shit between that, just hit me up. I'm good with either at this point, honestly. And of
Yeah.
course, gotta give a little bit of attention to the people who make this video work. For example, Robert Renato, every single one of these songs are made by him, and him alone, basically. Uh, and of course, the guy who takes everything I just scratch up and everything I vomit of words and whatever my dear co-host says, and edits it into something that resembles a coherent story and plot. Bezic, thank you very much for your constant editing and immeasurable tech wrangling, and we'll see what the future brings, eh?
He's earning his shekels on this one.
Oh, he does. He does, indeed. Well, and of course, a big thank you to everyone who drops by and watches. I have, honestly, dude, I've just recently reached 107 subscribers. I did not expect
Nice.
that.
Nice, man. That's good.
Again, I'm just doing this for a hobby and to just make sure I keep my drawing active. Sort of a way to not atrophy. And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a good hobby, honestly. I enjoy it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And of course, again, if you like what you see, if you have anything you wish, just again, like, comment, and maybe subscribe if you feel like it. I'll be trying to do as much weekly content as possible. Every now and then, I might even try stream as we see whatever happens. Procrastination is and will always be a bitch, but hey, that's just life. And of course, thank you again, Dave, for joining me, and I really look forward to next time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Peace out, folks.